Thokozani family, Hotep Bagwantu, Hotep Royals. How is everyone doing? Hotep, please tap the screen as you're coming on, just to let me know that you can hear me. If you can hear me, just tap the screen so I can see that you guys can hear me. Please tap the screen, otherwise I'll feel like I'm talking to myself and then I will close this live. Please tap the screen, family. Tap the screen. Let me see if you can hear me okay. Tap the screen, please. I see you are all filling up and you're filling up quickly. There's something urgent that I need to talk about. I was told I need to come here and talk about this. Please tap the screen. It's something I've talked about already, but I think now, it's a lot. But tap the screen, please, if you can hear me. Please tap the screen. Thokozani, Hotep. Please tap the screen, guys. If I don't see any hearts, then I'm gonna close this out because I'm gonna think you guys cannot hear me. Tap the screen, please. There we go. Okay, that means we are good with the audio. We are good with the audio. And so I'm going to get right into it because I'm exhausted. And I was actually trying to get ready to go to sleep. And as the way Spirit works, I came across a video here on TikTok. It just came in my feeds. And oh, man. The story is this, and then I will go into why I was told to come and repeat a message that I have shared probably over and over again. So the story is of a young man. He's here on TikTok. He, by all intents and purposes, and what I see of him, is African American, right? So, he's heartbroken. He's heartbroken because his mother decided that she was going to travel to Haiti and she was going to initiate into Haitian voodoo. And she left. While she was there, of course, she was sending, updates and pictures of how the whole process was going. And then at one point, she sent a message and she was saying, please, send prayers for me. My sense is that was probably just before the actual initiation. Now, I've got to explain this because the basis of all African initiation practices are the same, meaning that when you go, you don't start with ukukhuphula in isiZulu. You don't start with you being aligned with whatever spirits that you are initiating with. It starts with a series of preparations, cleanses, rituals, ceremonies, and then it culminates in certain initiation processes that happen. That is the actual day in which or on which you get aligned with whatever spirit. Sometimes it's not done in one day, depending on how many of these spirits you're being aligned with. Sometimes it's a 2 or 3, 4, it could be even a week's process. Well, I think it was the day after that, he got a message that his mother had transitioned. She'd passed on. So, of course, he's heartbroken. And he states that my mother went to Haiti. She didn't go to Haiti with the intention of not coming back. And there are medical reports that he's now getting. Of course, they are written in Creole or in French. and he can't make head or tail of what it's actually saying. He doesn't even know whether these things are from an actual doctor or whether they were just cooked up for his benefit. The story is heartbreaking, family. He says, my mother was my best friend. Like, he's lost right now because his mother is no more. Now, what she had gone to Haiti to initiate is to become a mambo. That is one of the highest callings in Haitian Vodou. I've said this before and I've said it again. I understand the eagerness of our diaspora family, particularly to connect with home. I really do. However, I've said this before. Some of these practices that you want to initiate into are not about whether you want to initiate or not. They're about whether, number one, it's in your ancestral lineage, and number two, whether you are called, whether you have an ancestral calling to initiate, which is signified by certain signs and symptoms and dreams and so on. You cannot leave your home to go to a place and decide based on a decision that you make because you like a particular music or you like a particular dance, or you've watched so many videos on Haitian Vodou or on Ubungoma or on shamanism or on any other one of these practices, and you just make a decision off the top of your head that you've gathered enough information that you are now ready to go, leave your home country, your hometown, your home, and go to a place like that and initiate. Because now the question becomes, what really happened there? What really happened? Now, I have Haitians in my life. One of my spiritual kids is Haitian. We've been together for 5 years. And my understanding of Haitian Vodou is that a lot of the spirits that you will go to initiate into are spirits that were once human. They are called loi. They are called the loi. Now, I'm not sure whether all the loi were once human, like say the Mdao spirit or the Munguni spirit. But what I do know for a fact is that many of them come from the Haitian Revolution. In other words, they have a lot of biases themselves. It's possible that she went and the first thing they said was, this is an imposter. Who are you and what do you want here? So on the day of initiation, while they're busy trying to have the spirit mount her, or when they are busy trying to align her, this same spirit rejects her and unalives her. It is possible that throughout the alignment process, her blood pressure went up, she had a stroke or a heart attack. Because even in Ubungoma, the process of going into trance is an intense process. And we've had Izangoma also suffer a stroke. We've had people who've gone to initiate after everything has been checked and all is well, and on the day of the actual Intwaso, they have perished. That is why in isiZulu, your day of alignment or ukukhuphula is called, of Intwaso, is called Ilanga Lakho Lokufa, meaning the day that you transition. It basically means that, yes, when you come out the other side, you're no longer the same person who went into this process, but you are hanging in the balance between life and death when you are going through that process. That is why it is a rigorous process that has to be performed by people who are experienced, who understand the spiritual realm. And all checks would have been made if this is a proper initiation school. all checks will have been made that this is the day this happens and you are ready. I would say you are fortunate if these spirits reject you and nothing happens and you come away thinking that you have been initiated. Meanwhile, the spirits just folded their arms and said, ah. You are very unfortunate if you happen to try to initiate into a practice where most of these spirits were once human and some of them are pretty vicious. Not that they go around doing bad things, but they're very temperamental. Meaning to say, one false move, whether it be your intention, whether it be them sensing that you're disrespecting the practice, and they will do you in. This is why these practices are called closed practices. And those of us who are in these practices understand that even in sharing with you, we cannot go into detail about everything. Yes, most of them are infernal, right? Fire. Fire, fire, fire. That's Jocelyn, by the way. That's my spirit child I was telling you about. My not my spirit child. My spiritual child. She's full of spirit, but she's my spiritual child that I was telling you, who has educated me over the years on the dangers of the law. I want to urge my kings and queens in the diaspora. Please, and I've tried to do this gently, but now this has happened and I'm like, I was told you need to go and talk about this. Because then I went down the rabbit hole in digging and I have discovered that there are several people who have perished. A couple of whom I know here on TikTok. So this is the one guy, and then I know two more who have gone because they left to go and initiate into a closed practice. Now, I don't want to jump the gun and say maybe they didn't check their lineage to see if they were sort of bloodline related or whatever. But I can tell you the reason it's called Haitian voodoo is because it's not even the same as the voodoo that is practiced in Benin, where it originates. It now has its own influences and its own spin. For example, in Benin, in Beninois voodoo, there are no lois. It's a different practice. So, guys, my heart is broken for this young man, you know. My heart is so broken for him because he is lost. He's like, my mom. She was my best friend. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. It didn't have to end like this. I just want to urge my diaspora family, whether you're in the UK, whether you're in America, wherever you are in the diaspora, it's wonderful that you want to connect with home. And by all means, do so. There are so many ways you can connect with your ancestry. There's so many ways that you can connect with your spirituality. There are lots of basic common practices, and I teach those. If you go on YouTube, those of you who are not on the YouTube, I have a whole series called The Ancestors. In one video, I actually warn about initiation and saying you can be spiritually gifted, but it's a different thing from being ancestrally called. If there's nothing in your bloodline that indicates that you are called to become a Haitian mambo or a sangoma, please err on the side of caution. The problem is the rush to do things. And I understand that a lot of it is in a bid to reconnect with home. But some of you all are also in a bid because you hear these stories of how when you initiate, all things are amazing. On our YouTube channel, and I've consulted her, I have a queen in Ndlovukazi who is 62 years old, who is African American and went and initiated an Ifa. And she, in our consultation, said, I shouldn't have done that because things went belly up. things went belly up. And the thing is, the person who initiated her has transitioned. He's gone on the other side. Now she's left with these spirits and no mentor, and not knowing, do I move left? Do I move right? When things go wrong, do I go... Like, guys, please, I'm begging you, don't dabble in things you don't know. And these streets, these YouTube, these internets are not going to give you not even a tenth of what actually goes on. Because why? They are closed practices. And those who are really in it do not come here and tell you, just like me. Most of you don't know from me what happens in Tuaso or an initiation to become a Sangoma. Because I am not at liberty to divulge. That is sacred stuff. It is closed. It's only those who need to go through it, who are called to go through it, who know what goes on. Because them knowing what goes on then gives them the ability to go ahead and help others who need to go through that process. Do you understand me? We have rules. There's something called umthetho weshoba. I don't know how to translate that into any other language, but that is an Ubungoma term that strictly forbids us from sharing this sacred information. And if you're truly initiated, you dare not, because the repercussions from your own ancestors for crossing that boundary can be devastating. That is why many of us see people who are breaking umthetho weshoba right here on the internet, and a lot of us are like, nah, you're not initiated. You think you are, but you're not, because you wouldn't dare. You wouldn't dare. Especially when you know how powerful these spirits are and these ancestors of yours are. So I'm asking, somebody's asking, do I do ancestral readings? Yes, I do ancestral readings, but that's not the purpose of this live. Please. This, like I said, that's why this is labeled urgent warning, because my heart breaks when this happens. I have no idea what the intentions of people are, but I think anyone who wants to connect with home must have good intentions, right? I don't think this woman and all these others who've perished went on these quests, went on these long journeys, paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because they were curious or that they had any bad intentions. But you cannot wake up and decide you want to be a Haitian Mambo, guys. You cannot wake up one day and decide, you know what, I want to be a Sangoma. No matter how attractive it looks to you from the outside, if it's not an ancestral calling, don't even go there. The problem is many of you go down the rabbit hole. You then binge watch Sangoma videos. You then binge watch Haitian voodoo or whatever it is, whatever practice Nkisi, whatever practice that fascinates you. You become obsessed with it. And you watch, and before they're telling you, like I said, I don't divulge because I uphold this rule, this set of laws. But there are people here who will tell you that, how do you know you're supposed to have an ancestor? Then they'll give you a litany of types of dreams you should be having. Binge watch enough of those videos, your subconscious mind will start conjuring. Because remember, you desire this thing. Your emotion is energy in motion. You will manifest those dreams. And then you will become convinced that, oh, I'm dreaming this, I'm dreaming that, I'm dreaming this. You're checking all the boxes. Some of you are even dreaming the ancestral cloths, and then you're telling yourself, oh no, this is a definite that I should go and initiate. Well, if you go to somebody, number one, who's careless, or number two, who just wants money, you tell them that, most don't even bother to check. Or they'll check and agree with you so that you can go to their initiation place, pay those big monies. Meanwhile, it was never about that. You went and binged watched a whole bunch of videos. And this started playing in your subconscious. And when you sleep, your subconscious mind brings this to the fore. You have these dreams. And hey, presto, I'm supposed to go and initiate to be a such and such. You do yourself a disservice sometimes. That's why, I always say TMI. I think a lot of practitioners are giving too much information in these social media streets. And let's face it, we're making this whole thing look attractive, not because many of us are trying to grab you guys to come to initiation school. No, you've got to understand that for centuries, people like me were unalived. 1950s Anti-Witchcraft Act of Southern Africa had I have ancestors who were like me, Sangomas, Inyanga, Nganga, who were unalived for practicing. So somebody like me it would be underground right now. You guys would not even know of my existence. So this resurgence that you're seeing of this joy that, across the diaspora, Haitian Vodun, Ifa, everybody is showcasing and dancing and dressing in their regalia because finally we can be ourselves without fear of being unalived by palm-colored creatures. Many of us were marginalized even after African countries got independence by our very own people who were ultra-Christian. Today, we still have people who are Christian who call us evil and who say that we worship DEM, those things, those things. And that our practices are demonic. So even if you go into African spirituality, best believe that the Christian members of your family are going to have something to say about it that'll make you feel some type of way. So can you imagine how people like me feel? We walk around, people see these. And these are sure sign. I've got some on my ankles. Sometimes I wear the dresses, the cloths. Sometimes people will cross the street so as not to walk past you. Imagine what that feels like. So the beauty for us is that we are able now to showcase, to be proud of our work, to be proud of our practice. We're not running away. We're not hiding. But the downside is we've made it look so attractive that almost everybody wants to be in this. But it's not for everybody. It's for those who are called through ancestral lineage to be this. And while we're busy showcasing how beautiful it is, how fun it is, we come with dance, we show, we drum, we do all this. There are aspects to it that y'all don't know that are pretty tough. Someone once said, there are all these people who say that it's fashionable to be a Sangoma. They insult us when they say that because they have no idea. They're like, all these young Sangomas everywhere. But because they don't understand spirituality, they're like, it looks like it's a fashion. No, it's not a fashion. If you're ancestrally called, believe you me, it's not a walk in the park by any stretch of the imagination. We live a different life from everybody else. We may all look like you do, but our lifestyles are demanding. Our life, it's no longer demanding because it's your life. You eventually get used to it. Because remember, when you are initiated on that particular day, when you come out, you're no longer the same. Therefore, some of the things that you used to partake in, some of the things that were normal for you, they don't fly anymore. There are so many restrictions within our lifestyle. There are restrictions around intimacy. There are restrictions around relationships. There are restrictions around food. There are restrictions. Listen, everything is timely. Yay! There are restrictions around even your own emotions. Yes, do we have emotions like everybody else? Yes, but we are governed in such a way that emotional intelligence has to, listen, you have to develop emotional intelligence so high, because if you don't, you can cause a lot of harm just by walking around angry. So, oh, guys. Somebody says, Gogo, I have something to tell you. Well, message me. Oh, I took your advice. I said, through all gifts I was given, how did this bestie know? Message me. She found out. Your destiny swappers. When you do that salt ritual, if you haven't seen the salt ritual to deal with destiny swapping, go and watch on YouTube. I'm not about to repeat it because that's not why I came here now. Go and watch it. By the way, I'm so sorry. Yesterday I posted a 3-minute clip of what was supposed to be a 30-minute teaching on destiny swapping part 2. So why didn't you guys tell me, those who are on YouTube? Because you were all commenting on this little video, and I didn't notice it was a little clip until, again, one of my mentees messaged me and said, Coco, it's only 3 minutes. I'm like, oh. So I've put up the longer one so you guys can go, because that 30 minutes was me telling you how do people manage to do this destiny swap. Yeah, they know, because they have monitoring spirits around you. I should do a video on monitoring spirits, because people... yeah. Somebody trying to switch destiny, they're going to put some monitors on you. Anyway, so family, please, I love you guys too much. That's why, I risked coming here looking like I do. By the way, I like how I look. These are my locks, but they are kind of just bunched up. Family, please be careful. I don't want to stumble upon videos of people who are transitioning untimely because they dabbled in the wrong thing. Guys, this is not dabbling. Don't play. Don't play. We've had situations, some kids right here on TikTok. Jocelyn, you know this. I think a couple of years ago, there were a couple of palm-colored kids who did that dabbling thing. One of them came on here saying, I can't sleep. I don't know what's happening to me. We saw newspaper articles that this little girl was found dead in the morning. I'm not warning palm-colored creatures. I think they should just dabble. Yeah, I said it, and I make no secret of who I'm here for. Let them go and play. Actually, let them go and play. Let's encourage them to go to Haiti for Haitian voodoo. Jocelyn, what do you think? You remember those 2 kids, right? Those 2 cases. Shall we just encourage palm-colored creatures to go for initiation in Haitian voodoo, please? Please. Somebody give me permission. I should ask my ancestors to give me permission. Because, then they would learn. Or just maybe we should invite some Loa to come over here and do self-initiations. Initiate people in their sleep. Palm-colored creatures get initiated while they are sleeping. That would be great. No. Okay, look, this wasn't what... No. That's not why I'm here. But I did come here to warn you guys, please. Please, family. Please be careful. Ne? I really just came to give that warning and to try to explain a little bit why don't dabble. Even if you're on your own, even if you don't travel to go there and initiate or something, don't call on the names of spirits that are not connected to you in any way. Because these little girls were in their rooms playing. And they thought it was a joke because they were making a mockery of African spiritualists. They were joking, they were mocking African spiritualists and saying, I'm going to call Papa Legba. I'm going to call Lord Baron. And they did. They fucked around and they found out. So don't, if you're not connected to it, leave it. Leave it, leave it. Light your candle, pour your libations, put your water for your ancestors, your bloodline ancestors. For majority of people, that is enough. Now, I've said again, you can connect with the higher order energies or frequencies or spirits, which are the Neteru. These are the ones you can connect with. Asa, which is Umvelingangi, Ukamata, Uramasedi. You can connect with Unomkubulwane, who is Auset, who is Umangwedi. Right? You can connect with the cosmic energies because they created you most. They're a part of you. But even there, do it with respect. Do it understanding what you're doing. Because any kind of disrespect, whether it's to the Neteru themselves, who are nature, you will come undone very quickly. Take time with what you're doing, but start at the ancestral level, your bloodline ancestors. I'm not saying don't learn about various different practices just for your own knowledge, but don't dabble and don't let anyone fool you into believing or thinking that you're going to be okay. Because now we have quite a number of examples that are showing us that you may not be okay. You may really fuck around and find out. And the way you find out, it may be too late to do anything about it. And then you're going to leave your loved ones, your children, your family, your parents, devastated. And worse still, you're going to turn a whole bunch of people away from African spirituality because once something like that happened, people are so emotional and they're so hurt and they're so traumatized, they're not going to localize it to somebody who went to do a certain thing. They will now say, we told you this whole thing of this African spirituality was demonic because it's unaliving people. And that is far from the truth. So for all our sakes, the reason I did this was again for a warning, but also again for all our sakes as practitioners, so that we don't, because we'll get persecuted, guys. We'll get persecuted for teaching. We'll get persecuted for trying to guide you. We'll get persecuted for trying to stand in the gap for you and filling in that ancient knowledge which most of us have forgotten and some of us have been called to share. If they start persecuting us because people are being unalived left, right, and center, and we don't want to give palm-colored creatures or anyone else for that matter, governments on the African continent, 90% of the so-called leaders, number one, they're sellouts. Number two, they're also ultra Christian. We don't want to give them a reason to say we're shutting this down because there's just too much nefarious stuff happening in there. And people are being unalived. That's why I don't agree with practitioners who dabble in the dark and sinister stuff that harms people's lives, that destroys families, because they give all of us a bad name. They give all of us, we're all painted by the same brush, which is why when I walk on the streets, like I've said to you, when I'm back home, sometimes people will literally go and walk on the other side because their aversion for people like me is probably born from some experience in the past with a family member who was harmed or something. Do you see what I'm saying? Who was harmed by somebody who's in the same practice as me. So please, can we all just for the family's sake, for the Black family's sake, let's all try to be careful, right? Let's try to exercise wisdom. Yeah. And my grandmother always used to say, you do not go where mother has not tread. Which basically means don't go into uncharted waters. If you're not from that lineage, if you're not from that system, stay away. If for some reason you are chosen or you are called to that system, it means that someone, maybe it's an ancient one, is rising again to come and say, hey, but there will be proper signs and proper things that indicate this. I hope we've understood each other tonight, family. This has been really devastating to find out. But I'm going to bid you all farewell. I know it's Grand Rising over in Africa, Grand Rising. And for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, especially here in the Americas, I know it's rest well. Yeah? Masithokozeni.